Hi, folks. John Dunn here, RPG freelancer, publisher behind Melee Revia. I'm up here today at Immortals with Mikey.
What is up, John? How's it going?
It's going okay, but we got this lump over here.
Lump. Yeah. Classic.
Lump.
Classic.
Carlos had
lump.
some thoughts on this book that I thought might be worth sharing.
Highlander.
When
did I say this?
I just assumed you had some thoughts on it since you might have seen the movie once.
Just a tad.
Maybe twice.
Based my whole life on it.
What is it?
So we're talking about the Highlander cinematic adventure from Evil Genius Games. This is compatible with the Everyday Heroes system. We've talked about that system before. We talked about other adventures in their line as well.
These guys that did Escape from New York?
They are the guys who did Escape from New York, yeah. Siegfried Trent is the game designer, and Rhys Sosby is the adventure designer on this. Trent is kind of a key Everyday Heroes designer, and Rhys worked on 7th Sea, L5R, World of Darkness, a whole lot of D20 products. So these are some pretty accomplished folks who worked on this. And the book opens up talking about the Highlander movie from 1986 and the world of Highlander. You get about 10 pages of that. And it kind of acknowledges the existence that there are other sources, like there might have been other Highlander movies and TV shows, but I only know about one Highlander movie. How about you, Carlos?
The other ones are crap.
No, there can be only one Highlander movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the sequels. Sorry.
No, there's no sequels. There can be only one of these movies.
I know. I was going to say.
Though there is a remake coming, right? Did you hear about that?
Who's in it?
Henry Cavill. Yeah, so
40K guy?
most people know him more Superman or The Witcher, but yeah.
No, I don't watch any of that.
You don't watch The Witcher? Come on.
No, I just...
It has swords.
So what?
That is death.
So is everything.
I tried.
And then it talks a bit about the Immortals, and it talks about the game and the rule that there can be only one. And it talks about the gathering and the quickening. So when at the end time, all the Highlanders are meant to gather and fight each other out until there's only one standing, and when one dies, the one who kills him by lopping off his head gains the quickening, which basically is his power, right?
Mm-hmm. Which
familiar with all this?
Wasn't really is Mikey.
What, from Highlanders?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know anything about Highlanders.
It's like,
what a shock.
It's classic 80s stuff.
I'm pretty sure the TV series was out in the 90s, but...
Was it?
I think so, yeah. Pretty sure I was out of college watching that.
I know about Skylanders.
College?
Yeah.
I didn't go to college.
Yeah, I know.
What's... The only part I didn't get about the movie was the quickening, like...
The big lightning blast.
No. But I mean, what was it? Like, what was his power then? Just
at the end,
influence people.
He became mortal.
Yeah, but wasn't he supposed to be influencing people after that?
I think he was influencing people all the way through.
No, but I mean, there was something about he was
going to decide the fate of
mankind.
Yeah, wasn't clear how he was doing that.
I think he was like influencing people through thoughts and
could be.
Anyway, go ahead.
And then the next 24 pages are our hero options. So we get Immortal as an origin, which in other game lines would be a race or a species. And then we get historical proficiencies and backgrounds. And the nice thing about this is your character's been around for an awfully long time, right? Mm-hmm. So he's got skills that aren't necessarily applicable in the modern world. And we get new professions, particularly some historical ones, and new classes. The Brutal Warrior, which is a variant of the Strong Hero, the Graceful Warrior, a variant of the Agile Hero, and the Strategist based on the Smart Hero. And then we get historical equipment, weapons, armor, and so forth, and a whole bunch of new feats, 18 of them. And Immortals can get even more feats because they're immortal. Now, one of the big questions you look at this and go is, all right, so how the hell is an Immortal going to be balanced with everybody else, right? They can only die when they get decapitated. But they do a decent job of balancing them out reasonably well with everybody else. And I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of that, but suffice to say...
They still get hurt and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. They can get hurt, they can get incapacitated, they just can't die. And unless they get decapitated. And so, big part of that is in the new rules section that comes next, and that's the dueling system that has rules for decapitation and the quickening when you kill somebody. Then there's a brief GM advice section, about 9 pages, covering themes, teamwork, more on dueling, Immortals and campaigns, and some ideas for adventures. And then the bulk of the book, 44 pages out of the 112-page book, is an adventure called A Measure of Revenge. It's kind of Joan of Arc themed. The first act of it happens in the 1400s, and Act 2 happens in the present. Kind of based on the fact that, there's 600 years apart there, kind of makes the assumption that your player characters are going to be immortals who experienced the first one in their younger days and then the present after 600 years later. After that, we get into the cast, which covers NPCs, most of the characters from the films, and your pre-generated player characters for playing through that A Measure of Revenge. Though, of course, you can generate your own characters. That section's about 19 more pages. So 112 pages, full color, paperback book from Evil Genius Games, $25. We got it here on the shelf in Immortals Inc. You have deep thoughts, Carlos.
I have a question, but I'm not going to ask it.
All right.
You're going to be that kid in the classroom?
Yeah.
One thing to mention is that Evil Genius Games has been having some challenges lately.
That wasn't the question.
All right. We're going to see how that works through. But I would suggest that if this is something that interests you, might be in your best interest to snag it sooner than later.
That I would suggest.
It's a good hint.
They had some issues.
Yeah. Hoping that they get through them. But just in case, if there's some of their products you like or are interested in, probably a good idea to take a look soon.
Is their system solid, though?
Yeah, it's a pretty solid iteration on 5th edition D&D.
Right. So then it'll probably be around. Just depends on...
One way or another.
Yeah, one way or another it'll be around. Is this based on the movies? Or is it just...
It's based on the Highlander movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
the rule system and everything that's presented in there is based heavily on the original film.
All right.
It kind of acknowledges the existence of the other media, but doesn't use it as source material.
Yeah, that was terrible. But the first movie's good.
It's a classic.
It's a classic movie. It's a good story too, and everything like that. I just I remember it was just a bunch of dudes lopping each other's heads off. Right, that's all I remember about the original movie. Right.
All right.
But there wasn't like any females involved.
So Highlanders dudes chopping dudes' heads off. Okay.
It would make a more interesting arc then, because then you would have like a couple.
Well, yeah, you can have romances, right?
Yeah, then you
can
could
have
like
people
at the
getting
end
together
it
and
could be
breaking up
two.
and-
Yeah.
And then if you cheat
might
on
have
somebody,
two-
you chop their head off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or other things.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Then,
fine.
Never mind.
Just don't remember.
Yeah.
All right.
I get
Either way.
confused sometimes.
Thank you, John, for coming in today talking about this.
Happy
if you guys
to.
like this, hit the sub. We have a join button coming soon. If it's not already there, we're going to have a tier system. We got partnered. We're shaking hands with YouTube.
So far.
Yeah. It's like
Maybe.
a soft handshake.
Not but after our last podcast, but that's cool.
Till next time, folks. Good gaming.